Okay. Welcome everybody to December 14th regular town council meeting. Start off with the adoption of the agenda. I can get a motion for that. Councillor Rudick, thank you very much. Is there any additions or deletions to that agenda? Seeing none, all those in favor? Thank you. Next up, we have the adoption of the minutes of our regular council meeting from November 23rd. Councillor Barry moves. Thank you very much. Anybody have any problem with those minutes? Any errors or omissions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Carried, thank you. And now their special meeting on November the 25th. Get a mover for those. Councillor Warwa, thank you very much. All those in favor? Carried. So first we're going to go to the monthly cash statement.
Thank you, Your Worship. This is the monthly cash statement for the month of November 2020. We started the month with $11,021,678. We had a net draw during the month of $552,768, and we ended the month at $10,468,910. Major sources of cash receipts during the month were quarterly GST refund of $85,769, franchise fees from ATCO Gas and Electric of $88,648, police officer grants of $172,832, and a grant from Transport Canada for $37,970. Major uses of cash outside of the normal course were border paving for capital works projects of $361,251, MPE engineering for $53,900 for engineering work on Southeast 17 project, and the quarterly RCMP contract for $260,644.
Okay.
We ended, as I said, we ended the month with $10,468,910, of which $6,648,499 is in our treasury account, and $3,820,411 is on our investments.
Okay, I'll take a motion to pass, move that. Councillor Brodziak, any questions? Dale, can you give us an update? Is that the last payment on that capital project, or are we done, caught up on everything?
No, that's not the last payment on the capital project, but it is the last large one.
There's the whole back left. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, any other comments? Okay, all those in favor? Carried, thank you. Next up, infrastructure planning development, Dale Lefebvre.
Yes, Your Worship, thank you. This is a request for council decision, offer to purchase 1 acre of land within the Northwest 165414 west of 4, as registered on land titles, Grant Lankow and Cindy Lankow. The proposal is to start the process to formally purchase 1 acre of land within Northwest 165414 west of the 4th for the purpose of locating the required lift station for the servicing of the agri-food industrial subdivision within Southeast 17. The background: to purchase a 1 acre lot that will be registered as a public utility lot is required for the servicing and development of the town's agri-food industrial subdivision within Southeast 17. The project is being developed through a grant funding partnership between the federal and provincial governments and the town of Vegreville. The purchase of this lot is essential in this location as a placement and construction of a lift station was identified by the engineers, ensuring the sanitary sewer system would be cost efficient and also efficient in its flow. The financial implications: the land was appraised by Atlas Appraisal between $17,500 and $15,000. With advice from the town manager, the planning and development department had discussions with the owners of the quarter section and offered them $15,000. Additionally, the town will cover the complete expenses of the subdivision process. Recommendation is being made for the town council to approve starting the process to purchase of 1 acre of land from within Northwest 165414 west of the 4th for the sum of $15,000, with the addition of expenses for the subdivision process plus any applicable GST.
Okay, thank you. Take a motion for that request. Counselor Waters, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next up, back to Paul Casey.
Yes, your worship, this first one is a request for council decision to transfer funds to the Land Development Reserve, and the proposal is to approve the transfer to the Land Development Reserve. Background is that during 2020, the town sold 4422 Bruce Road to a local businessman for $140,000. Costs for the sale were $8,970, resulting in net proceeds of $131,030. When the property was initially purchased, council had determined that the net proceeds of any sale should be credited to the Land Development Reserve. Number two, during 2020, the town sold a portion of Lot 2, Block 6, Plan Roman RN 66A to a local residence for proceeds of totaling $13,000. Costs for the transaction were borne by the purchaser, so the net proceeds to the town was $13,000. Consistent with the other sale of town-owned land, administration recommends the net proceeds be transferred to the Land Development Reserve. The financial implications is that an expenditure of $144,030, representing the net proceeds of both sales, will be recorded in the 2020 financial records to transfer the net proceeds to the Land Development Reserve. And the recommendation is that town council approve the transfer of $144,030, representing the net proceeds in the sale of 4422 Bruce Road and a portion of Lot 2, Block 6, Plan RN 66A to the Land Development Reserve in 2020.
Okay, Councilor Berry makes the motion. Any discussion? So I'll ask Paul, that's it for all the land that we purchased from that one company is now all gone and the money's back in the reserve.
That's correct.
Good. Okay, see no other comments. All those in favor? Carried. Thank you.
Okay, the next one I have is a transfer to carry forward operating reserve. And the proposal is to approve transfers to the carry forward operating reserve for use in 2021. The background is due to COVID-19, a number of departments had significant unexpended funds for various professional development courses, contracted services, purchased goods, and other expenditures that they wish to carry forward to 2021 to offset the costs that will be incurred in 2021. Transferring these funds to the carry forward operating reserve in 2020 for use in 2021 will reduce the amount that will have to be raised through property taxation to offset costs for those various services, training, courses, and expenditures incurred in 2021. Financial implication is that an expenditure of $291,522 will be recorded in the 2020 financial records to transfer unexpended funds for the departments listed below to the carry forward operating reserve for use in 2021. And the recommendation is that town council approve the transfer of $291,522 to the carry forward operating reserve for the departments listed in 2020 for use in the 2021 budget year.
Okay, I'll be looking for a motion for that recommendation. Councilor Warren. Any comments? Boy, pretty quiet bunch tonight, I gotta say. Of course, it's all good news. We're putting money back into the bank, so. Okay, all those in favor? Gary, thank you. So Paul, let's get to the budget.
Yeah, the next one I have is the 2021 5-year capital plan, and the proposal is to approve the 2021 5-year capital plan. After presentations by the directors of each department to town council regarding their respective proposed 2021 5-year capital plan requirements, council and administration held capital budget meetings to discuss and deliberate these proposed projects. The 5-year capital plan includes the 2021 capital budget and the capital plans for each of 2022 through 2025. The 2021 capital budget within the 5-year capital plan totals $11,799,005 and includes the following items: new highway signage for $200,000, closed circuit TV camera system for 30,000, development of 1.2 kilometers of the Northeast Walking Trail for 196,505, playground development for 2 locations, 120,000, machinery and equipment replacement for Parks and Recreation of 47,500, equipment and vehicle replacement for Public Works of 209,000, a vehicle replacement for utility services for 46,000, several capital works projects totaling 1,050,000, and the development of Southeast 17 Industrial Park for $9.9 million. The 5-year capital plan will be made available on the town's website, and printed copies will be available at the town administration office. The 2021 capital budget is comprised of the following funding components: capital grants, $9,616,505, reserves, $262,500, operations, $270,000, and debenture financing, $1,650,000, for a total budget revenue of $11,799,005. And the recommendation is that town council approve the town of Vegreville's 2021 capital budget in the amount of $11,799,005 and accept the capital plans for 2022 through 2025 in principle as presented in the document that follows.
Well, thank you very much. That was pretty smooth, Paul.
Well, thank you.
Just like doing your books at home, I guess, eh? The same numbers.
Yeah, I talk like that too.
Okay, so we'll start with the motion to accept the capital budget. Thank you, Councillor Berry. Any discussion? Councillor Rudy will be first, and Councillor Berry.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to make mention that this is the proposed estimated cost in case people are wondering. They could also access these documents in what way. Maybe I'll direct this through you, your worship, to the administrative team. So if people are watching and interested in looking at the estimated costs of some of these items, how could they get access to this?
Well, there'll be printed copies available, plus it'll be on our website. And so they would want a printed copy. They'd have to make an appointment to get into the admin building. And then they could pick up a copy there, or they could download something off our website. Councillor Berry.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I know that we'll probably be semi-quiet tonight because we've done a lot of discussing on all of these matters in the various budget areas. And I think that I'd just like to extend congratulations to administration as well. And they've put a lot of work into this and helped us through it. Thank you.
Yeah, I recognize that we all have put a lot of time and effort and a lot of thought and planning into this budget. I would just like to bring forward on the highway signage issue there, the 200,000 coming out of reserves. We have sent that back for a better estimate, and we've scaled back on that. So, and again, it's not money that we were looking for to raise in taxes right now. If it goes ahead, it'll be out of a reserve. So anybody else have any comments? Councillor Braja.
I'm just going to ask administration to remind everyone the funding that we received from the Alberta government back in October. I can't remember what the acronym is for that funding, that pocket of funding, but I know that we had the 196,000 for the walking trails, and the 120,000 for playground equipment does come from that pocket of money. So just if we could have administration remind us what exactly that funding was called that we received.
I know the acronym. I can't think of the name off the top of my head, but Phil might know better than I.
Your worship, it is the municipal stimulus program.
That's
the one.
Thank you, Phil. That's exactly what I was looking for. And that total amount, I think, was 681 some odd thousand.
That's correct.
Okay, and everybody that wants to find out can find out what our major capital works projects will be next year. Maybe Dale, you can just highlight the big plan for in our capital budget for projects.
Yeah, for sure. The main project will be a mill and overlay of our 50th Street, our main street. And we're going to do some road reconstruction on 45th Avenue between 48th and 49th Street. So that'll be on 45th Avenue from the above ground water tank to the cenotaph, if you will.
Thank you. That's it's a big project on itself, and I don't know. It was nice to have some grant money to get a few extra little things in there this year for sure, and not being have to pass it on to the property owners in town. So, seeing no more comments, I'm going to ask the question. For all those in favor? Thank you. Okay, Paul, we can move on to the next one.
Yeah, the next one is approve the 2021 three-year operating plan. Planning for the 2021 three-year operating plan commenced in September 2020, culminating in presentations in November 2020 by the directors of each department to council regarding the proposed 2021 three-year operating plan. Council and administration held several meetings to discuss and deliberate these proposed three-year operating plans and any changes thereto. The 2021 budget was impacted by the potential impacts of COVID-19 on town operations and expected reductions in provincial funding for both the town's three-year operating and five-year capital plans. During the budgeting process, administration worked with council to deliver a fair and balanced budget that included a reduction in property taxes without causing a significant reduction in services provided by the town and increasing user fees where appropriate. The three-year operating plan contains the 2021 operating budget and operating financial plans for each of 2022 and 2023. The 2021 three-year operating plan presented is the foundation for the municipality to implement business plans and priorities in 2021, 22, and 23. The three-year operating plan includes the following key items for the 2021 operating budget. A 2% reduction in property taxes for the municipal portion of property taxes only, resulting in an overall reduction in tax revenues collected in 2021 of approximately $188,000. A reduction on the property tax rate for small businesses by increasing the discount on non-residential taxes to 20% from the previous 15% relative to other non-residential businesses, resulting in a further savings to small businesses of approximately $58,000. One-time provincial funding of $617,000 to offset impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic. These funds will be used for various projects throughout the community using local businesses to complete. Adjustments to certain user fees resulting in additional revenue of approximately $180,000. Creation of a new $5 monthly charge on the utility bills for an infrastructure replacement fee, which will generate approximately $151,000 annually and will be earmarked for the infrastructure reserve to offset reductions in provincial government grant funding for infrastructure in the current and future years, and a 0% cost of living adjustment for salaries and wages in 2021. The financial implication is that the 2021 three-year operating plan includes an estimated property tax levy of $9,196,345 for the municipal portion of property taxes, which represents a 2% decrease compared to the property tax levy contained in the 2020 operating budget. Total revenues, including the municipal portion of property taxes, are $18,050,882, and total expenditures are $18,046,313, resulting in a net surplus of $4,569 before amortization expense. Amortization expense is not an expenditure and therefore not included in determining the overall property tax levy. However, it is an expense required to be included in the three-year operating plan. Amortization expense for 2021 in the three-year operating plan is $4,098,944 and results in a budgeted deficit, including amortization, of $4,094,375 for 2021. Communication is that the three-year operating plan will be made available on the town's website, and printed copies will be available at the town's administration office. The recommendation is that town council approve the town of Vegreville's 2021 operating budget contained in the 2021 three-year operating plan and accept the financial plans for 22 and 23 in principle as follows and as presented in the document that follows.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Council Broadjacks makes the motion to adopt the operational budget 3-year plan. Any discussion? Well, we're going to be cutting her close. We've left ourselves a surplus of $4,500. But I feel that if everybody is on board here in each department, that we can get there. So I would like to highlight it's going to cost the average household $84 more a year when you take in the $5 per month for the infrastructure portion that's going to show up on your utility bill. And we had a $1 increase to the solid waste charge and a $1 a month to the recycling charge. And as Paul read in there, the reason for this new infrastructure portion on your utility bill, it's just pertinent planning on our part because the provincial government will not be funding our infrastructure projects the way they have been. And it's not a secret. They've not made it a secret. And we all know financially where we're at in this province right now. So we all have to do a little bit more. And I know it's only $150,000. You think, what could you get done with that much money? But over the last few years, we've seen if we add a second smaller project to our big one, we seem to get a very good rate from the paving companies or the construction companies here in town. So that's why we did it. And I hope that everybody in the community understands that something has to be done because we just can't walk away from infrastructure repairs because that'll get you no place. You need to do some planning there. So does anybody else have any comments on the operation budget? Oh. Councilor Rudig.
Thank you. I was just going to make sure that our citizens knew that some of the decisions that we made this budget were very definitely affected by the grant funding that we have available. So moving forward, we are not expecting the MSI, which is our traditional grant pocket funding from the provincial government, but because we had unusual grant funding from both the federal and the provincial government, that we could embark on projects that we would not otherwise. So for that reason, this year, in an extraordinary circumstance, we have a 2% reduction. In my time on council, I've never seen that. So this is an unusual year, and for that reason, we've made extraordinary efforts to be able to support all of our residents, whether they're business owners or they're senior citizens or their families, just trying to make sure that we're there for the upcoming year and make sure that we're still able to provide a high level of service. So thank you very much to all of our team in administration, making sure that we're able to consider all the options and make sure that we're not impacting families negatively. And I think that, Your Worship, capturing it as an $84 more per year is a very palatable explanation of how these little charges might make a small difference to each family, but will make a big difference to the town in the future. So thank you, everybody.
Councilor Barry.
I just want to point out, though, that basically that $84 increase is offset by the 2% decrease in the taxes. So that there's it goes both ways.
Yeah, well, I'm sure that most residential houses will see more than an $84 decrease on their taxes, but again, it is trying times, and we need to be accountable for what we're supposed to do, which is infrastructure, which is providing services to this community. So again, I recognize that we've been very lucky to have some of the additional grant funding that was available this year for some of these other projects. But we also have to tip our hat to some of the decisions that have been made in the past where we have not spent all the money that was allocated to us. And we've been putting money away, and we're set very well financially moving forward with some projects or some emergencies. So again, it's all about the planning. So anybody else have any comment on the operational budget? Seeing none, all those in favor? Carried. Thank you. Thank you, Paul. That
You're
was
welcome, Your Worship.
very well done. Okay, next up, Cliff Craig, Town Manager.
This is a request for council decision to appoint a deputy returning officer. The proposal to appoint a deputy returning officer for the town of Vegreville general municipal election to be held on October 18, 2021. The background, the next general municipal elections are to be held on October 18, 2021. Recent changes to the Local Authorities Election Act now allow for nominations to be filed on January 1st, 2021 or next business day. Nomination papers must be filed with the returning officer or designate, and a deputy returning officer can receive and process nominations in the absence of a returning officer. As the nomination period for the general municipal election is just over 9 months in length, and the town administration office is the local jurisdiction office for receiving nomination papers, having a staff member appointed as a deputy returning officer will make filing for nomination papers for prospective candidates easier. Financial implications, none. The duties of the deputy returning officer will be done during normal working hours of the legislative coordinator. Recommendation that town council appoint the legislative coordinator, Sandra Ling, as a deputy returning officer for the general municipal election to be held on October 18, 2021.
Thank you, Cliff. Need a motion to support that? Councilor Rudick. Any comments, questions? All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. Now we're moving on to bylaws. First up, the Development Authority bylaw.
Thank you, Your Worship. This is the Development Authority bylaw, and the purpose of the bylaw is to establish a development authority. There's no changes in this bylaw, as there isn't in the next one coming up. They're an 1995 bylaw. They needed to be updated. They were making reference to sections of the MGA that don't exist anymore. So we've cleaned it up and turned it modern to 2020 bylaw. And the purpose of this bylaw, just so people know, is that the Development Authority of the town of Vegreville is hereby established. The Development Authority shall be a person or persons appointed by resolution of council, which has already been done, be myself and Karina Sorkin, and by default, Cliff, the town manager. And the last one is the powers, duties, and functions of the Development Authority shall be those described for the development officer in the land use bylaw of the town of Vegreville, and such additional powers as are described under the act, the regulation, or this bylaw.
Okay, so I'll take a motion for the first reading. Councilor Barry. All those in favor? Gary. Take a motion for the second reading. Councilor Warwa. Thank you. All those in favor? Carried. Now I'll need a motion for unanimous consent. Well, Councilor Brodziak beat you, Councilor Barry. Times are a-changing. All those in favor? Carried. And motion for the third and final reading. Councilor Waters, thank you very much. All those in favor? Carried. Next up. The Subdivision Authority bylaw. And that's you again, Dale.
Yes, it is. And this is, of course, the Subdivision Authority bylaw, also from 1995. So we've made reference to the current MGA, so it references the right information. There's no changes to this bylaw.
Okay, just update it with the numbers. So I'll take a motion for the first reading. Councilor Rudick. All those in favor? Carried. A motion for the second reading. Councilor Warwa, thank you very much. And now a motion for unanimous consent. Councilor Barry, look at you. Nice, good job. All those in favor? Carried. And a motion for the third and final reading. Councilor Waters, all those in favor? Carried. Okay, next up. You doing the borrowing bylaw? Dale, or is Cliff doing that one?
I think I'll let Cliff handle that one.
Okay.
Actually, Paul will.
Okay. There you go, Paul. You're on a roll.
Okay, this is bylaw number 112020 for the town of Vegreville, and we'll be asking for first reading only tonight. Okay, the bylaw is already, the heading of the bylaw is incorrect. So do you want me to continue, Cliff? In the preamble.
How did that happen?
How,
It got
how,
listed in proof.
the part is incorrect.
Says 2.5 million and, oh no, that's correct. Never mind. I was thinking of
Yep.
something else.
Okay,
It is correct. This bylaw number 11/2020 of the town of Vegreville in the province of Alberta authorized municipal council of the town of Vegreville to incur indebtedness by the issuing of debentures in the amount of $2.5 million for the purpose of developing Southeast 17 Industrial Park. Whereas the council of the town of Vegreville deems it expedient to issue a bylaw pursuant to section 258 of the Municipal Government Act to authorize financing, undertaking, and completion of the development of the Southeast 17 Industrial Park. And whereas the plans and specifications have been prepared and the total cost of the project is estimated to be $10,750,000. And the municipality estimates the following grants and contributions will be applied to the project: federal grants, $4,950,000, provincial grants, $3.3 million, and debentures of $2.5 million for a total of $10,750,000. And whereas in order to construct and complete the said project, it will be necessary for the town of Vegreville to borrow the sum of $2.5 million for a period not to exceed 30 years from the province of Alberta or another authorized financial institution by the issuance of debentures and on the terms and conditions referred to in this bylaw. And whereas the estimated lifetime of the project financed under this bylaw is equal to or in excess of 50 years. And whereas the principal amount of the outstanding debt of the town of Vegreville as of December 31st, 2019 is $12,606,314, and no part of the principal or interest is in arrears. And whereas all required approvals for the project have been attained and the project is in compliance with all acts and regulations of the province of Alberta, now therefore be it resolved that the council of the town of Vegreville duly assembled enacts as follows: that for the purpose of development of Southeast 17 Industrial Park, the sum of $2,500,000 be borrowed from the province of Alberta or other authorized financial institution by way of debenture on the credit and security of the town and Vegreville at large, of which the sum of $2,500,000 is to be paid by the town of Vegreville at large. Number two, the town of Vegreville will repay the indebtedness according to the repayment structure in effect, namely equal semi-annual or annual payments of combined principal and interest installments not to exceed 30 years, calculated at a rate not exceeding the interest rate fixed by the province of Alberta or another authorized financial institution on the date of borrowing, and not to exceed 8%. Whereas, and the mayor and town manager are hereby authorized to issue debentures on behalf of the town of Vegreville for the amount and purpose as authorized by this bylaw, namely the development of Southeast 17 Industrial Park, and the municipality shall levy and raise each year municipal taxes sufficient to pay the indebtedness. Number five, the indebtedness shall be contracted on the credit and security of the town of Vegreville. Number six, the net amount borrowed under this bylaw shall be applied only to the project specified by this bylaw. And number seven, this bylaw comes into force on the date it is passed. Read for a first time this 14th day of December 2020 AD.
Okay, thank you, Paul. I'll be looking for a motion for the first reading. Councillor Rudick, thank you very much. Any discussion? I would just like to say that I know that I am going to try as hard as I possibly can, and I know admin will, and to keep this at 1.67 million. The extra money that's in there, so we don't have to come back and borrow more, but initially that's where we are at with our planning, and we would love to end up finishing a debenture 1.67 million. So any other comments? Okay, all those in favor of the first reading? Carried. Thank you. Next up is the signage bylaw.
Okay. This is bylaw 12-2020 to establish regulation for election signs. So pursuant to Section 7 of the Municipal Government Act, council may pass bylaws respecting the safety, health, and welfare of people and the protection of people and property, people, activities, and things in or near a public place or place that is open to the public, and the enforcement of bylaws made under the Municipal Government Act or any other enactment. And whereas pursuant to Section 8 of the Municipal Government Act, a council may, in a bylaw passed under this division, regulate and prohibit. And whereas pursuant to Section 18 of the Municipal Government Act, a municipality has the direction, control, and management of all roads within the municipality. And whereas Section 13 of the Traffic Safety Act authorizes council of a municipality to make bylaws with respect to a highway under its control, under its direction, control, and management, which are not inconsistent with the Act. Now, therefore, the Council of the Town of Vegreville enacts as follows. This bylaw shall be cited as the election signage bylaw. And then I've listed the definitions. The general provisions are for federal, municipal, provincial, or school election signs must comply with the following. Election signs may be posted only for municipal and school elections. Election signs may be posted after 12 noon on the day when election is officially called or notice of election, and must be removed within 48 hours after closing of polling stations on election day pursuant to the Local Authorities Election Act. Or with the federal and provincial elections, election signs may be permitted to be posted for 28 days prior to the election and must be removed within 48 hours after the closing of the polls on election day pursuant to federal and provincial legislation. We list the specifications for the signs, as well as the sign locations and the enforcement if there are areas that are not complied with. And we also list offenses and penalties. We have attached a schedule relating to each section of the bylaw and to what the applicable penalty would be. So we're asking for the 3 readings on this tonight.
Okay, thank you, Cliff. A motion for the first reading. Councillor Barry. Any question, any comments about the bylaw regarding the election signage? Everybody satisfied with the explanations we've had up till now?
Good.
Okay, I would recommend anybody that's thinking about running in the next election that they get a copy of this bylaw and take a real good look at it about where their signs will be and how their signs will look. So any other comments? Seeing none, for all those in favor of the first reading? Gary, take a motion for the second reading now. Councillor Warwa, thank you very much. All those in favor? Carried. Motion for unanimous consent. Councillor Brodziak. All those in favor? Carried. And a motion for the third and final reading. Councillor Rudick. There we go. All those in favor? Carried. Okay, one more way to go, and it's the fees and charges bylaw.
Right. So this bylaw number 13-2020 of the Town of Vegreville in the province of Alberta to establish fees, rates, and charges for services provided by the municipality. So whereas the Municipal Government Act, as amended from time to time, authorizes the council of a municipality to pass bylaws for municipal purposes respecting the following matters: services provided by or on behalf of the municipality, the establishment of fees for licenses, permits, and approvals. And whereas the Act provides for the provision of municipal utility services subject to the terms, cost, and charges established by council. And whereas the Safety Codes Act authorizes an accredited municipality to make bylaws respecting fees for services provided pursuant to the Safety Codes Act. And whereas the Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act authorizes a local public body to, by bylaw, to set fees the local public body requires to be paid under the FOIP Act, which must not exceed the fees provided in the regulations. Now therefore be it resolved, the Council of the Town of Vegreville in the province of Alberta duly assembled enacts as follows. This bylaw will be cited as the 2021 Fees and Charges Bylaw. The provisions, there's a number of schedules here that are laid out, which represent all the fees that will relate to 2021. These fees are also adopted in the 2021 budgets that were just approved. There is one change, and that's in Schedule V as in Victor, and that's utilities, fees and charges. We received the notification from the John S. Patuque Water Commission today to what the price of our water will be from the commission to the town. So our price will be reflected, and it will be $3.25 per cubic meter.
Okay, so that's the only changes that we haven't seen because John S. Patuque just gave those notifications today about the increase in the water fee per cube. So take a motion for the first reading on the new fees and charges. Thank you, Councillor Waters. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Gary, take a motion for the second reading. Councillor Barry, thank you very much. All those in favor? Carry. A motion for unanimous consent. Councillor Warwa, thank you very much. All those in favor? Carry. And finally, third and final reading. Councillor Brajak, thank you very much. All those in favor? Carried. Wow, there's a lot of voting tonight. Thank you, admin, for putting all that together. I know that the last little bit's been a lot of work with the budgets and all these bylaws to change, and we appreciate it. And I know that everybody's looking for a couple of days off here around Christmas. So we'll move on to council reports. And I'm going to talk, I don't know who's at the top of everybody's screen, but I'm going to start with Councillor Warwa. She's at the top of mine, so.
Okay, thank you, Your Worship. Obviously, I think we all had a few less meetings than usual, but starting November 25th, had our special council meeting. December 1st was our budget meeting. December 8th of the legislature meeting. And December 11th, I just want to note I was due to do the food bank delivery with Councillor Barry and got called into work, but voluntold my son. So thank you to Councillor Barry for giving him direction and the two of them still proceeding forward. And of course, tonight's regular council meeting. So it's been a little bit on the lighter side for me on this last one. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councillor Barry.
Just get me for a second. I pulled up the wrong document.
Okay, Councillor Waters, are you ready to go?
Yeah, I can continue. November 25th, I had a CALS meeting, Community Association for Lasting Success. That was my first time on their committee there. They say everything is good. Students, parents are all adapting to the ever-changing challenges that are happening. So I'm looking forward to the new year with them and see what they have to bring. November 25th, the special meeting as well. December 1st, budget meeting. December 2nd, MD Foundation. And staff and admin there are doing as much as they can to keep the residents happy. Some of the programs they had set up, I don't know if any have taken place yet, but they're going to do an ugly sweater contest, Christmas crafting, Christmas bingo with prizes, and New Year's Eve with refreshments. So that might be interesting. Going to continue with their Christmas Eve celebration, 12 Ukrainian dishes. So that would be nice, as well as the full turkey dinner on Christmas Day. So I know it's trying times in there. They're doing the best they can. The staff there is awesome. On December 3rd, I recorded Talk of the Town, and the topic for me was the Christmas Bureau. Anyone who knows me know that's one of my passions and very close to my heart. And Friday was our deadline for applications. So this year we're kind of on par from last year. We have 145 hampers, which equates to 400 people that we're helping. So that includes children as well. So they'll be receiving a food hamper, gift cards to Co-op and No Frills, toys. So they're gonna have a good Christmas as well. On December 4th, I did the food bank pickup with Gerald Lemko. He's not here tonight, but I do thank him for the heavy lifting. That was much appreciated on my part. I think there are a couple of turkeys there, so that was good. So that was a lot of fun. And tonight's council meeting as well.
Thank you very much. Let's go back up and see if Councillor Barry's ready to go.
Yes, thank you, Your Worship. My mouse wasn't working right. It clicked on the wrong document on me. So on November the 25th, special council meeting. December the 1st, operating and capital budget meetings. And on the 2nd, MD Minburn board meeting. Yes, I think the residents are looking forward to their holidays, and I believe that they've got some new items there due to some thankful donations. It looks like the little raffle that they'll be having will be quite successful, and I think they'll enjoy that. On the 8th, Ledge meeting. On December the 11th, the food bank. And yes, Tina, you weren't able to come there, but I will say this much: your son didn't need much direction, and we really did get a truckload. I'll tell you, we were loading up the seats in the front as well as completely loading the back. It was a very generous donation day for the food bank. And it was much appreciated to have a young strapping lad that could really move boxes around. So thank you very much. And then today's regular council. Thank you.
Okay, we're moving down the square. As if you guys remember Brady Bunch, this is what it's like to me. I'm going to move down to Marcia here. Councillor Brodziak, you're next.
Marcia.
Yeah, that's it.
On November 25th, we had the special meeting. On December 1st, budget meeting. On December 1st as well, we held our chamber AGM where we had two presentations. One was for the chamber benefits program, and the other one was for different kind of benefits that chamber members can access. On December 8th, we had our legislative committee meeting. December 10th, again, we had another chamber board meeting this time where we discussed, first of all, the Shop Here campaign. Out of 30 possible people who or businesses who can take part in this Shop Here campaign online website design, we've only have 7 signups so far. So the board members, the chamber board members are out in full force trying to recruit more businesses to take part in this. It only costs, I think, $250 per website to design, and that cost is covered by the Town of Vegreville Economic Development, the Chamber of Commerce, and Community Futures. So a triple partnership, and hopefully that we can get up to 30 participants. We also had our Christmas radio auction update. Today is day 11 of day 15 for the radio auction. And the target was to raise $15,000. And I think we are well on track to raise that amount of money. So I want to take this opportunity to thank all the Vegreville businesses that donated towards this radio auction, especially in this, hard economic times. Everybody was willing to donate. So very, very much appreciated to all the businesses in Vegreville. FCSS, the Vegreville Cares Coalition. I didn't hear anybody mention it, but there's a Pink Shirt Day logo contest running this week. So if you know of anyone who wants to design a logo for Pink Shirt Day, if they could get it to FCSS this week. Then on December 11th, that was Friday, I recorded the Talk of the Town that aired today, and that was specifically geared to the budget that we were passing tonight. So I wanted to point out, of course, that we did agree to reduce the property taxes, the municipal portion, by 2%, which was achieved. And tonight's regular council meeting, and that's my report.
Thank you. And I listened to your talk of the town today, and you let citizens know that their taxes may go up because of requisitions from the province.
That's right. It's a possibility.
I think you scared a couple of people when you said 15 to 20%.
Well, of the school requisition,
I know.
portion, not the toll.
It seemed like quite a bit. But yeah, good job, Councillor Brodziak. It was,
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now, Councillor Rudick.
Thank you. So since we last had a council meeting, it was the Federation of Canadian Municipalities Advocacy Week. So usually we would be attending Ottawa in person and advocating for different policy initiatives for municipal government across the country. This week that continued on. So November 24th and 25th and the 26th and the 30th, I had FCM board meetings of various types. So governance representative meetings and advocacy panels. And as a non-political, non-partisan organization representing municipal government, we met with all 4 political leaders. So on the 24th, we met with the leader of the New Democrats. On the 25th, we met with the Green Party, and we'd already met with the Liberals and the Conservative Party the week previous. So that was great to be able to hear all of the parties in the Bloc Québécois as well. So we had all 5 national parties talking about municipal government. So you'll see municipal government being featured in national news in a way that it hasn't previously been as forefront. So I'm glad to see that some of our issues have come forward and some of that advocacy has resulted in the money that we used to be able to make some positive decisions in our budget. So it was a good opportunity to be able to meet with different MPs. For example, MP Warren Steinley, who was a co-presenter for a bill by our MP, Shannon Stubbs, and his area of critique for the party is about rural economic development and some of the issues that we talk about. So it was a great conversation with him, just making sure that we're all aware of what's happening in municipal government. I had on December 2nd, the Towards Parity Initiative final interview, and that's an initiative encouraging more women to run for elected office in municipal government. And through the COVID pandemic, the last 9 months, there have been 3 provincial elections and or municipal election turns. So there's been a number of elections happening during this very difficult time. And I know that the American election has taken a lot of the air out of the room. But there are other really significant gains that have been made. In Nova Scotia, elected more women than they've ever had to their municipal government. So there's really good decisions being made across the province, across the country and across the provinces. So I was happy to have that final interview. And of course, our budget meetings. And again, I can't say enough for the creativity and our ability to be able to make decisions that will be improving our citizens' lives. So we've got a wide range of nuts and bolts decisions, the kind of thing that, of course, are our core business, providing infrastructure for our citizens, and also making sure that we've got some amenities to make sure that we're bringing people to the community. So I'm looking forward to seeing those projects moving forward in 2021, employing local people and being able to support our people that live here, both currently and our future residents. So thank you to all of our team and legislative committee on the 8th and tonight's council meeting. And that is my report.
Thank you, Councillor Rudick. So basically, I've been to all the same meetings as everybody else. I was at the John S. Patuque meeting on the 10th, where we finalized the increase, and it's quite a large increase this year, coming from EPCOR and being passed on to all the municipalities, but it is what it is. They have to apply to a board and a panel too to get them approved. So I do want to mention that it was nice to get this budget done, and I feel that we've made some good decisions for what we need to do this year moving forward, but also for an incoming council. We're not hanging the next council with anything, decisions that's going to cost them a lot of money. So there's going to be some money left over to get some projects done. And if there's any other emergencies come up, I feel that their planning was very good. But I do want to ask Phil a couple of questions right now. I got the ODR is ready to go, Phil?
Yes, it is, sir.
10 people from the same household, 10 people on the ice. What is it?
10 people maximum. They can be from different households. They are to physically distance. It is for skating only. There'll be no shinny hockey allowed. So it's just for skating and a maximum of 10 people on the ice at one time.
Okay. Have we made decisions regarding flooding some other surfaces around town?
Yes, the Parks and Facilities crew are in the process of making 4 additional rinks.
Okay. And I'm glad to hear that because they're all over different parts of town. So smaller surfaces, but have more access to different neighborhoods in the town, correct?
Yes, including the one that Councillor Brodziak had brought up at the Ledge meeting. That will go ahead.
Have you heard anything from the exhibition board?
In regards to what?
A rink?
The Ag Society or the exhibition?
Yeah. Sorry, Ag Society.
Yes, we have had some discussions with them. That is a possibility as well.
Good. The more we can do for this winter to keep everybody that's pent up and get out and give them an opportunity, the better off everybody will be. Okay, again, I want to thank everybody. It's been a long 2020 up till now, and we've all been chugging along here, and we got a lot of good work done this year. We won't have another meeting until the new year. So thank you all for what you do. And admin, thank you. And I have nothing else for this meeting. Does anybody else have anything? Oh, Councillor Warwa.
Just since we're talking about things that we could do for people outside, I just kind of wanted to ask Phil a couple questions. I don't know if anyone noticed on one of my social media, I had shared that kind of interesting outdoor looking rink that was, it looked almost like a little bit like a curling rink. So my question to Phil would be, I'm just wondering, like with our outdoor rinks that we've used for skating, one of my questions is, why is it only skating and not shinny? I understand you don't want to have games. However, I don't mean you, but I mean the province per se. But the province also does have, looking at the regulations, it said, does talk to actually the ability for practices that can still go on outside. So I'm just wondering whether we had a specific provincial mandate for no shinny or not. And then I'm just wondering, because if there is, then clearly we couldn't look at something like that rink, because that would be a game as well. So do you have any info on that, or is that something you could look into maybe? Thank you.
So hockey teams practicing outdoors, they are considered a team cohort. Shinny hockey is not considered a team cohort, and that was deemed by Alberta Health Services that they cannot physically distance appropriately playing shinny hockey. But where practices, they can, it's more about drills and getting the exercise outdoors. That's why that is allowed. And in with your other question, it is called croquis curl. And I've actually had a couple of people that have asked me about it. So I am looking into that. It looks like a very fun game. So I will see what I can do with the parks and facilities crew if we can make that happen somewhere.
Sorry, and I don't want to add a bunch of new stuff to look at or maintain or whatnot, especially as close to Christmas, but it just looked like something else unique that could possibly be utilized by various age groups. So thank you, Phil.
So in theory, if 10 people showed up at the ODR wearing the same shirt, they might be able to play shinny hockey. Councilor Rudy.
I just wanted, I had a request from a couple citizens that were wondering if we had updates as a town as we're moving forward. The numbers for COVID today are higher than they were, and they seem to keep growing. And so the request is coming from citizens that are feeling like they want to hear from us as elected officials just a little bit more consistently, particularly during the next 4 weeks when there's going to be additional lockdowns and a change in how they're receiving information potentially from us. I don't know that we necessarily have an answer here, but just wanted to make sure that our citizens know that we're thinking about them and that to continue all the good measures that we can to try to prevent the spread of COVID-19, and that we're here, even if we're not meeting in official capacity, that we're still able to be reached and provide answers to them if they need.
I know the numbers are going up. There's no doubt about it. And those numbers are not all going up within the town limits. That's for sure. They're in the county of Minburn. But I think that Alberta Health does a very good job every day of putting the numbers out there. It would be nice to know what's within our boundaries, but for some strange reason, it's a privacy issue. I don't understand that. It never was at the first, but now it is now. So, and again, yeah, I encourage residents to reach out to elected officials for information, and it's part of our job. That's what we do. We try to find answers. And Councilor Barry.
Well, I think it's important. None of us are going anywheres. We are in town, and we do communicate amongst each other and keep in touch. So if anything does come up, I'm quite certain, Your Worship, that you'll be calling a meeting to address it. It's not like we're leaving things be until January. It's just that at the moment, we've successfully got the majority of the work done that was really important when it comes to these bylaws and the budget. And but if something comes up, I'm quite certain that His Worship will call a meeting and we'll be together and talking about it and dealing with it quickly. I was concerned, though, Your Worship, that you were going to close this meeting with us all trying to sing a Christmas carol, but.
Well, let me help you out there with your concerns. We definitely are not going to do that unless you wanted to. But what I would like to do is close this meeting by just asking all the members of our community to be kind to each other and try to be safe. Okay, thank you all for what you do, and meeting adjourned.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everyone.